Okay, thank you. Thank you all for responding. So, I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself and my colleague Shivani. We're going to be taking today's webinar. It's a bit of, a worrisome topic, the importance of extracurriculars in your MBA application, because most of us, once we begin working, we don't really have time to focus on extracurriculars, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about why extracurriculars are important, how they're evaluated by MBA admissions committees, and how these extracurriculars should be showcased in your application. Okay. Now, my name is Vaishali. I work with Jamboree Education in Mumbai. I am the process manager for their MBA MIM applications in Mumbai. And my colleague Shivani, who's joining me today, is also an MBA admissions manager at Jamboree. She's also an MBA from ISB herself. So please feel free to ask her and me any questions. There are some ground rules I want to lay down before we begin the webinar. It will be difficult for us to keep track of your questions on chat. So if you have any questions, type them in the Q&A box so we can answer them for you. Also, we will hold a Q&A in the end for 15 minutes to half an hour. All right. So we will answer all your questions at that time. So don't type in your questions as we are taking the session because it might just break your concentration. Okay, fine, fair enough. So let's start. I will begin talking about why your extracurricular activities are important. Okay, first of all, I want to understand from you what comes to your mind when you think of extracurricular activities. You can use the chat box to answer this. When you think of extracurricular activities in your application, what kind of activities come to your mind? Okay, Ankit says extraordinary achievement. What about the others? Non-academic activities, hobbies, community involvement. All right, that gives you a gist, right? Now, see, when we talk of hobbies, like a lot of people will say traveling is their hobby. A lot of people will say running marathons is a hobby. The problem with listing hobbies and extracurriculars in this kind of fashion is it will portray you as the same as everyone else. And this is something you want to avoid on your MBA application. Okay. Everything you put on your application needs to work towards setting you apart. This is why detail matters. Okay. Now understand how an MBA admissions committee reviews your application. Uh, they typically start off with your resume. What is your resume? A resume is like a synopsis or a snapshot of your entire candidacy, correct? Your resume encapsulates your professional accomplishments, your KRAs at work, your educational experience, and your extracurricular activities. This is how extracurricular activities become a differentiator. Most applicants to business school come from very traditional silos professionally. So you have people working in finance, you have people working in ITES, you have people working in consulting, you have people working in marketing, you have people working in heavy engineering industries, right? So how many of you fall into these silos? How many of you are from, let's say, an IT background professionally? You can use the chat box to answer my question. Okay, you're a student, Ankita. Yeah, IT sales. Yes, yes. Okay. How many of you are from a finance background professionally? Okay. And how many of you from a consulting background, like management consulting? Okay. Now, see, even in this webinar, if you looked at the chat box, most of you fall into these traditional silos, right? So I'll just give you a very common example. If you are an analyst working in a consulting firm, there will be a lot of people with the same professional profile and similar KRAs, right? Now you imagine that the MBA admissions committee has to select amongst at least 70 to 80 applicants who professionally have the same profile, professionally come from blue chip companies, professionally have shown advanced career progression, and all have high GMATs and similar educational backgrounds. How do they make a choice then? This is where your extracurriculars become important. Okay, so your extracurricular activities add a dimension of personality to your application. They create a humane side in your application. Apart from evaluating you professionally, which your KRAs and professional accomplishments and the companies you work with and your career progression and your educational background do, your extracurricular activities showcase you as a person. Okay, so very often, MBA admissions committees like to go straight to the extracurricular section once they have slotted you into a professional silo, because this is where they can gain insight into the type of person you are. Okay, what you do in your free time for an MBA admissions committee is as interesting and as important as where you work and how you work, because it sends a signal about the kind of alumnus you will be in the future. Okay, so now, Ankita, KRA is key responsibility area. Okay, I'll come to the questions later. Fine. Why are extracurriculars important? What do they demonstrate? The first thing they demonstrate is the ability to multitask, right? If you're a student, if you're a working professional, and what you're doing is you are, along with your work and your studies, devoting time to pursuing a hobby, it shows that you can successfully plan and multitask. Why is ability to multitask important to an admissions committee? Uh, when you begin business school, typically you will have 11 to 12-hour days minimum. You'll have a lot of in-class stuff to do. Post class, you'll have your study groups, you'll have your presentations, you'll have recruitment activities. So unless you're able to multitask properly, you will be in a position where you get very overwhelmed, and it will kill the business school experience for you. So evidence of being able to successfully multitask on your CV is something admissions committees look for, because they want well-adjusted students who can handle the rigor of a business school curriculum. Okay. Extracurricular activities also enable you to showcase leadership. Okay. Now I'll explain this in view of your resume. Uh, a lot of us don't have, a lot of us don't have formal teams that we lead. Leadership can be an implicit thing wherein you've taken charge of a specific project, but it is not necessary that you have people reporting to you. In this case, how do you demonstrate leadership on your application? Because for most business schools, leadership is a quality that they desire. So this is where your extracurriculars come in. They enable you to demonstrate leadership ability in case you've not had the opportunity to demonstrate leadership ability professionally. For example, if a lot of people feel that they should utilize community work to showcase extracurricular activities. Now it's become very common for students to show community work because they think it's a must have on an application, right? Which makes community work a very common extracurricular, in the sense that a lot of people say that they volunteer with not-for-profits and they teach underprivileged children. It would be better to use community work to demonstrate leadership by maybe being in charge of fundraising for a not-for-profit. So how would that showcase leadership? You've taken a task, you worked towards it, and you completed it. All right. Also, fundraising as an extracurricular is a little interesting for admissions committees because it showcases your ability to take initiative. How would you fundraise for someone? You have to go and get corporates to put in money in a cause. You have to cold call people and get them to put money in a cause. So what does fundraising show? How does it show leadership ability? It shows leadership ability because it's not easy to get somebody to uh, volunteer funds towards a cause they might not even believe in. If you successfully fundraise, it shows that you are able to convince people of the cause you believe in, which means in future, if you have to cold call employees for a job, the chances of you being able to convince employers to hire you is also equally high. All right. So it all ties down to your employability also. So utilize your extracurriculars and hobbies to showcase leadership in this way. Okay. Admissions committees also use extracurricular activities to understand your personality. Okay. What your extracurricular activities, what do they say about you? What do your hobbies say about you? Your hobbies and extracurricular activities very often share the undertone of what motivates you, what gives you a sense of purpose, right? Now, a major part of your MBA experience will take place outside the classroom. There will be a lot of activities outside the classroom that you as a student will be expected to get involved in. So can the MBA admissions committee rely on you, for example, to contribute to the finance club at school? Can the MBA admissions committee rely on you to organize a student trek to, say, Silicon Valley, wherein people attend company presentations and look at job opportunities? If you've done such kind of things in your education in the past, the chances of you being able to replicate them in the future become higher. Okay. So they reflect on an essence of your personality, which is why extracurriculars are important. One thing that I really want to stress as far as extracurriculars go is the issue of quality versus quantity. Okay. Don't have 15 activities that you are not completely involved in. It's better to instead have 1 to 2 activities that you are involved in to a larger extent. So depth of an activity becomes more important as compared to how many activities you've been involved in. Okay. So quality of the extracurricular activities versus quantity is more important. Fine. Now, when you showcase activities, what do you have to do? You have to quantify what you showcase, in the sense that you have to put in numbers on what you are showcasing all the time. So for example, I'll come back to the fundraising example. If you say that you have fundraised for a particular not-for-profit, always put in the amount. Don't worry about the fact that the amount might not look like a big amount, but putting in the amount over there will help you quantify the effort that you've put in. Okay, it will also enable you to demonstrate impact. So if you quantify your extracurriculars, putting in a number there, putting in a statistic there will enable you to explain the importance of what you did. All right. You also have to link your extracurricular activities to your goals. So for example, if the short-term, immediate post-MBA goal for you is a position that involves collaboration and teamwork and involves an understanding of global perspective, and you've not had the chance to do this at work, then choose an extracurricular that enables you to showcase this in an informal manner. Okay. You also have to use your extracurriculars to demonstrate shared values with the school you're targeting. So how do you achieve that? The mission statement of the school is a great place to start for this. Okay. Each school, each MBA program has its own mission statement. So I'll again request all of you to use the chat box right now. Everyone's heard of Harvard Business School? Yes? No? Okay, yes, everyone over here has heard of Harvard Business School, right? If you look at Harvard's mission statement, it says it looks for people who have a habit of leadership. So if you are going to apply to Harvard, you will need to demonstrate this habit of leadership professionally. And if it's not professional, you'll have to demonstrate it via your extracurricular activities. Okay. So before you decide what kind of extracurricular activities you need to pursue, the mission statement is a good place to start. So for all schools that you shortlist, go through the mission statements. All right. This is why your extracurriculars are important. Now, may I have the next slide, please? Okay, we covered the matter on this. Shivani ma'am, may I have the next slide? How do you categorize your extracurricular activities, right? You have extracurriculars by timeline and you have extracurriculars by type. So when you say timeline, these could be extracurricular activities you've been involved in your school, in your college. Some of you've been involved in extracurricular activities at your workplace, right? If you haven't had a chance to be involved in things at your workplace, what I'd suggest is at least sign up for community service sponsored by your workplace, because every big company these days has a CSR team that looks at corporate sponsorship for community service. So sign up for events organized by them, participate in them. This will enable you to showcase social impact and an element of teamwork and leadership in your extracurriculars. What you could do is you could also sign up for activities like the Toastmasters Club, for example, which will enable you to meet a lot of people, practice impromptu speaking. So that will also be a good extracurricular to show. Okay. Extracurriculars, if you classify them by type, you have group-based extracurriculars or individual extracurriculars. Group-based extracurriculars typically would involve a group sport, like maybe, playing football or playing volleyball, or uh, even community work in which you're working with a team of people on something. So if you showcase group-based extracurriculars, you will be able to showcase collaboration, working towards a common goal as an achievable skill set. If you have individual extracurriculars, like fundraising, for example, you will be able to showcase setting a goal, achieving it, being persistent towards achieving it, etc. So again, what your target school is looking for in an applicant becomes important when charting out your extracurriculars. All right? With me so far? All right. So we'll proceed to the next slide now. Where do you showcase your extracurriculars? With all this talk about extracurriculars, there are some places in your application where you can showcase them. Your resume is one. So when you have your resume, you typically have 3 sections: professional experience, educational experience, and extracurricular activities. Okay. So you can use your resume to showcase your extracurricular activities. What I would suggest is start with reverse chronological order for your extracurricular activities. So put your recent most first, and then create a timeline for each extracurricular you've been involved in. Okay. Your application form will have areas where you have to talk about your hobbies. It will have areas where you need to list out things you enjoy doing outside work. So your application form is another place where you talk about your extracurriculars. Okay. Essays, and we'll take you through some essays in the course of this webinar. Now, every university, every MBA program you apply to typically will have some or the other version of a diversity essay. What do they mean by a diversity essay? They want to understand what you bring to the program as a person via the diversity essay. How will you add value to the program as a person? So here you're supposed to talk about the contributions you will make to the program within and outside the classroom. You're supposed to link these contributions to professional and non-professional clubs and activities going on in the MBA program. How do you show linkage? By showing how you participated in similar things in the past. So for example, if you are working in financial services and you talk about being a part of the finance club, you can talk about how you will help the club to arrange an event on renewable energy, assuming you worked with renewable energy derivatives. Okay. So this linkage has to be made. Fine. Endorsement letters are not recommendation letters. Endorsement letters are letters written by people who you worked with in your extracurriculars. So for example, a not-for-profit that you worked with, or if you believe that, you're learning French because you like languages and you showcase your knowledge of languages as an extracurricular, then a letter from the institute where you're learning French. Fine. So those endorsement letters are additional documentation that can be submitted to showcase your extracurriculars. Okay. And last but not the least, your social media. Look, social media checking has become very important these days. MBA admissions committees check not just your LinkedIn, but also your Instagram and your Facebook and your Twitter. So if you say that you're involved in 5 things, please document them on your social media. Make sure there are pictures of these things on your social media which serve also as proof, because MBA admissions committees will not ask you to submit certificates. What they will do is they will check for proof in this kind of manner. All right. So social media vetting, social media checking has become a very important part of the application scene these days. So make sure all your extracurriculars are heavily documented. Fine. This is as far as showcasing your extracurriculars go. Now, what we'll do is we'll get into detail about extracurriculars in application essays, extracurriculars in application forms, and I will request Shivani ma'am to take the floor to explain that to you. And we'll answer all your Q&As following Shivani ma'am's talk. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Vaishali. So, Vaishali, do you want to first run through this resume?
We'll do it later.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you everyone for joining. As Vaishali is introduced, I am Shivani. I have been working with Jamboree for past 6-7 years. And I will talk more about this extracurriculars and importance of extracurriculars. We will take the questions at the end. So in line with what Vishali is talking about, this next slide is about how to show your extracurriculars. So as Vishali has just pointed out, that extracurriculars can be shown in your application form, in your resume, various parts of your application. And nowadays, because the admissions committees are looking for proofs and they don't really ask you to upload the certificates, as well as it is not recommended also. So so some sort of proof is always better to show. So what you can do now, we are in June, and the reason why we are doing this webinar in June is because the application cycles will actually start in September, October, and you have these 2 to 3 months of time to document things. Okay, so what you could do is extracurriculars can be in various forms, such as music, plays, performing arts as they call it, sports, painting, sketching, photography, all of them which is listed here. And you can have more kinds of extracurriculars also. So all of these types of extracurricular activities can actually be produced in a digital format. Okay, what I mean is that if you are a good musician, or you're a good dancer, then record some YouTube videos and put it on YouTube, and you can spread the word around and have some subscribe, likes, etc. If you are a good sports person, right, again you can have pictures on the YouTube, pictures on the blog. There are some famous blog platforms such as WordPress, etc., free blog platforms which you can use. You can put up your painting, sketching, photography. If you're good in arts and crafts, people also make traveling blogs where they I mean, it's just not about writing to that you went to this place or you went to another place, but you can actually put up their pictures and add some quirky facts about the place. Cooking, okay, you can make your cooking videos. Again, if you are shy of coming on the camera and actually recording these videos, you can also make some blogs which show your cooking recipes, etc. Coin collection, stamp collection are some other activities that people do. And then reading, watching movies, etc. So one of my student, he used to watch a lot of movies. So how do we portray this, and how do we do it in the digital format? So he actually started a blog where there were a lot of interesting quizzes about the movies, the gist of movies that people can read about or write on. And nowadays there are a lot of interesting platforms like Instagram and Facebook and all of these digital platforms that you can use to portray your ECAs. In the application, while you are filling up the application, you can actually give links of these social media channels to the adcom to check this out. Okay, because they would not actually have the time to run through everything, but they can, if they have a quick link that they can visit and see what kind of extracurriculars you have been involved with, then it is always better. So Also, when you are listing out your extracurriculars in the form, so as Vaishali has pointed out, it can be from school level, it can be from college, it can be from your workplace also. Now, adcoms also know that during your workplace, like since the time you started working, there will be very less extracurriculars in comparison to your school and college. Now, the way I would approach this is that school extracurriculars, because they were done long time back. If you are an MBA candidate, that means you have at least 2+ years of work experience. That means you have been out of the school for at least for 6 years. If you have done a BTech, or I mean, at least 8 to 10 years you have been out of the school. So they were done long back. Okay, so I would give very less importance to school extracurriculars unless you have done something really great there, such as if you have been in leadership positions such as head girl, head boy, etc., then probably I would write it, but otherwise I would not mention it also. Then you come to college extracurriculars. College extracurriculars are important because they show continuity. Okay, and then back it up with something at your workplace, what you have been doing at your workplace. Now it is important to show continuity, and it is important to show depth. Okay, so I had a profile, so who got selected in one of the very prestigious business school. So he was actually an investment banker, but he did not had like 10 or 12 extracurriculars, but he used to write very well, and he used to write he used to he had some novels also published, fiction writer. So fiction writer plus investment banker, so that is a great combination. So also see that your extracurricular falls in different buckets. I mean, if suppose you have been a good sportsman, and if you write in the application that 10th class 10th won this sports competition, class 12th won this sports competition, it looks very boring. It should not be just like a bucket list of things that you have done, but you have to really choose and write which extracurricular is important. But if I write that I have done like I'm a national level sports person, plus I enjoy traveling, so then I am giving some interesting material for the adcom to read upon. Okay, so basically your extracurriculars should be diverse. It should not fall in just one bucket. Okay, try to diversify your extracurriculars and add depth to it. That means that you have been doing it for a considerable period of time. That is what the adcom cares for. It should not be just like done three months apart. So now, as I mentioned, we are in June, so any new extracurricular that you pick up now, you may not be able to convince the adcom that that this is the extracurricular that you have been doing for a long time. Okay, but what they actually look in the application is the depth of extracurricular or the history of extracurricular that should be portrayed. Okay, so about the essays, so as Vaishali has just pointed out, diversity optional essay. So business schools do ask you to write about your ECAs in the diversity or optional essay. Most business schools have it. So we have seen it in Rotman, we have seen it in INSEAD, we have seen it in ISB, Stanford, and most of the other applications. Okay, so you have to be ready with this about writing your extracurriculars in these in the essay format in all of these applications and more. So I'll just give you an example here. So this is the Rotman essay, and if you check the application, so Rotman application is already out. They have an early intake, and this is what they require in the application. So you can just read through it. Hobbies, awards, and entrepreneurial ventures, sports, arts, etc. And they are actually asking you to describe the spike factor, and they are asking you to give the photographs also. Okay, so you have to write about this essay, also giving the photographs, pictures of you doing stuff. Okay, so and the other essays, and they don't have other like the other essays where they ask you about why MBA and why do you want to go to this business school, etc. is very short, is answered very shortly. Is this essay which is which will play a major role in your application. So be prepared to handle this sort of applications also. In future also we see that most business schools are revamping their essays to have more of this extracurricular component incorporated there. That means there will be more weightage on the extracurriculars going forward. Okay, this is what the ISB application form looks like. So they ask you to fill the, there's an awards and activity section, and they ask you to write about the current hobbies also. Okay, so awards, in awards you can mention the year and the details and the type of award it is, whether it's a professional award, it is academic award, community service, etc. And name of the activity, from to, level of participation, designation. So it is very specific. Okay, what designations have you held? And some schools like Stanford, etc., they ask you to fill even the number of hours that you have given to each extracurricular. So be prepared to handle that sort of applications as well. Okay. Another thing that I want to point out here is that, as Vishali has pointed out, that extracurriculars will fall in two categories. One is the team category, where you are part of the team. Another one is the individual category. So if you have been playing, suppose, a sports, okay, which is individual, like chess or some other sports, okay, which is an individual activity like badminton, etc., then it will fall in the individual category. But then you should have some extracurricular which should fall in the team category. Now suppose I am a good writer, okay, and I don't have any extracurricular which falls in the team category. Then there are ways to convert it. Okay, how do I convert it? I could write in my application that now writing is purely an individual thing, right? It doesn't fall in the team category. So how do I convert it? I could write that I was part of the school's editorial team or the college editorial team, and then it will fall in the team category, and they give more details about it. So there are ways to articulate your extracurricular activity so that it falls in all kinds of buckets, which is individual as well as team category. So this is what I want to speak about. Now we will, so these are the resources. We will take the Q&A now. And after that, if you have any questions, you can always email us at information@jamboreeindia.com, and we will be happy to help. So Vaishali, you can explain the last part about resume, and then we'll start with the Q&A, I think.
Can you just take me to that slide, please?
Sure. Yeah, here it is.
Now, I don't know if all of you are able to see this in detail because, you know, it's not. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll explain the gist of it to you without using the resume. Like I said, there has to be an education section, a professional experience section, and an extracurriculars activity section. Okay. This extracurricular activity section, like I said, will have to include the extracurriculars you have been involved in, and it would be better to present them in reverse chronological order. Also, in this section, for example, if you feel your academic GPA is not very high, then you can use an extracurricular during that academic year to explain how you were involved in a multitude of things which might have affected your CGPA. Okay, that was the gist of what I wanted to explain using the resume. So don't use only 1 or 2 bullet points on your extracurricular activity section. Create a chunk of 4 to 5 points listing things you've been involved in, and also try to showcase a lot of depth in your activities. Okay, now we'll move on to the Q&A section. Someone's asked me, over here, how do you present your experience of working in an international sports event like the FIFA World Cup? So what you can do is you can include all the activities you were involved in. Were you know, part of a team that was playing in the tournament? If that's the case, that's great. Were you part of an organizing committee? What were you exactly involved in during that time? Also, participating in an event like the World Cup will enable you to showcase a lot of global perspective. So, you know, you can utilize it to say that you worked with a multicultural team comprising of people from so many different nationalities, and this was the kind of work you were involved in doing. Okay. Someone has asked if not-for-profits play an important role in profile building. Yes, not-for-profits do, but then again, the kind of work you do with your not-for-profit is important. If you're volunteering to teach, then it would make sense to quantify it in terms of the improvement the students you've taught have gone through during your tenure with them, the number of classes you take, etc. Okay. Um, Shivani ma'am, if you can take this question, how do experienced professionals showcase their extracurricular activities?
Okay. Okay, so as we have just highlighted few things that you need to take care of is first of all, you are an experienced professional. So first list out all your extracurriculars since the school time. Then remove the school activities if not important. Okay, sort it out in the order of importance and also in reverse chronological order from starting from what you have done currently to show a history. Okay, and then so once you are able to identify the important extracurricular activities, then you can incorporate it in various essays, in various you can also get endorsement letters to support extracurriculars in resume and in application form, and make sure that you are not repeating a lot of stuff. So for example, if you are talking about a extracurricular activity which can be mentioned in one line, okay, like suppose I participated in a sports competition when I was in college third year and I came second, and there is nothing else to talk about this sports competition, then it could be listed in the application form only. There's no need of mentioning it in the resume, as it will eat away the space, as well as there's no need of mentioning it in the essays. So you need to make a fair judgment of how do you distribute, or how do you write down about your extracurricular activities in resume, essays, and your application form. So I hope it answers your question.
Shivani ma'am, there are a bunch of questions related to ISB. They all want to know how to showcase extracurriculars on the ISB application. So that's something that.
Sure. So, okay. So, as I have just explained about ISB, specifically what ISB is looking for. So I'll just come to that slide again so that we have a better perspective. Yeah. So this is what ISB asks you to fill. They ask you to write about their awards and activities as well as current hobbies. Now, current hobbies, and also there is a character limit for each of these sections. Okay, so those character limits. Now, hobbies are quite straightforward. Whatever hobbies you have, suppose you have watching, you have watching sitcoms, you have reading novels, fiction, etc., sports. You can just write about those hobbies. Okay, and then and also while you are writing about the hobbies, for example, I have cooking as a hobby, then I can give the link there, a web link there, state about my videos, cooking videos, or my cooking recipes in the form of blog, etc. So in case of hobbies, there is actually a good number of character limit given there, or word limit given there, where you can actually give some web links. But in case of area of award or activities that you have, extracurricular activities that you have been involved with, you have to keep it very short. Okay, you don't have much space to write here. Okay, only the what specific things you can write, like when you were involved in this activity, from which time to which time, which doesn't mean that you have to write the dates actually, but if you know just the month and year, it is fine. Okay, and then finally ISB also has a ISB application essays. They have a like till last year, I remember that last year there was a question which is if you if you have if you are if we have to be the one of the 900 students that we have to take, then what sets you apart? So there also you can mention about your extracurricular activities, uh, which you are most proud of or you want to mention specifically in the essays. So for example, one of my student who got shortlisted and finally also selected for ISB, she had reading as as her passion. So she liked reading all sorts of books. So what she did in her workplace was to actually found a she actually, so please switch off your videos. She founded a bookers club there where people could actually I mean share their books, and it was a club basically where there were a lot of discussion forums available, online discussion forums, etc. So there were meetings where people can discuss various books as well as share books amongst themselves, and they also raised some fund where they could manage and buy more books. Okay, so she converted into a basically an active running club at her workplace. So this is what she wrote in her diversity essay, why ISB should take her apart from all the professional work achievements that she has. So this is just an example of how you can demonstrate your extracurriculars at ISB. So Vaishali, are you there?
Am I audible?
Yeah, now you are audible.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
of you are talking about what if you don't have documented proof for an extracurricular. So if you don't have documented proof, don't worry about it. Business schools will not ask you to produce certificates. Okay. What you can do is you can use your social media. Some of you said we're not very active on social media. What do we do in this case? When you list your activities in your essays, in your resume, you get called for an interview, your interviewer will know how to ask you questions to understand your level of involvement. All right. So if you're not very active on social media and you don't have certificates, submitting certificates is not necessary in any case, correct? So what will happen is in your interviews, the level of questioning, and bear in mind most international business school interviews are very informal, you don't have stress interviews, but they will be able to gauge your level of involvement. All right. Some of you asked if courses online can be showcased as an extracurricular. They can be showcased as an extracurricular in the sense that they enable you to enhance your learning and understanding of a subject. But again, these are individual activities. You will not be able to showcase, skills like collaboration, etc., via online classes. Founding and starting a club, yes, it's definitely counted as an extracurricular. You can go a level deeper in that by mentioning, uh, how many members did you get to register for the club, the activities the club completed under its aegis during the time. Okay. Uh, if you are in a research background and you don't have any type of extracurricular activity, what you can do is maybe start getting involved in something right now and utilize it, get involved in something you like and utilize it on your application. Okay. Shivani ma'am, here's another ISB related question for you. Does ISB closely check social media?
Yeah, so as I have mentioned, they vet through your social account, and they will not do it if you have. So they definitely check your LinkedIn account. Okay, you must have your LinkedIn account updated. If it is possible, get some recommendations also on the LinkedIn. On the social media, it's better that you give them the links. Okay, so if there are any active blogs, or if there are anything that about your extracurriculars that you want to highlight, it's better to that you provide it in the hobbies or in the application section. In the application form, they will not have time to actually scan through the different social media accounts for every applicant. They won't do it, but it is preferable that you give them the right links where they need to go to check your social profile.
Okay, there's an interesting question on extracurriculars in the time of the lockdown. How do you participate in an extracurricular if you cannot get out of your home? So, one way to probably work on this would be to, work within your residential society if that's an option available to you. Maybe do like an awareness drive. Maybe there are residents in your residential society, old people who don't have family, possibly kind of check up on them, take care of their needs, utilize this time to showcase how you've helped your local community out. Also, increasing your learning repository by taking online classes this time, getting maybe a language certification or something would be another way to go about it. If you're associated with clubs like the Lions Club and the Rotary Club, again, yes, what you specifically do there will be important. Just being a member will not help. Okay. So, any more questions for us?
So I think there are some questions around failed startup count as ECAs. No, they don't count as ECAs. And I saw a couple of questions where I think people are not able to differentiate between what is a ECA and what is a hobby, and what is a like online classes. So somebody has asked, if I'm taking an online class on Udemy, etc., will it count as an extracurricular? No, it will not count as an extracurricular if you are taking an online class, because this is more towards your professional skill building, etc. But if there are platforms nowadays like Skillshare, where people are learning skills such as painting or some other hobbies that they have, if you are learning those sort of skills, it will count as an extracurriculars. But if you are and they are doing some live projects also there. But if you are doing a Udemy course, if you are doing a edX course, it will definitely not count as an extracurricular. Another thing is that sometimes also people confuse between, like, I'm working in an organization, and I'm working in an organization, and I'm working in a steel company, and I am organizing a conference where I am inviting all the vendors of steel or steel manufacturers across the world. Will that count as an extracurricular? So someone answer this for me. I've just given you a situation where I'm working in a steel company, and I have organized a friends through the chat window. I think people can answer. What do you think? Will it count as an extracurricular? Any opinions on this? Okay, so Akshit is saying yes, it will count. Aditi is saying no, it will not count. Simanti is saying no, it will not count. The correct answer is no, it will not count. Okay, because this is again related to your workplace. Okay, if you are doing something which is part of your responsibilities, something which is part of your responsibilities, it will not count as an extracurricular. So it's very important to first differentiate. Okay, you must know what is an extracurricular, what is a hobby. Okay, over to Vaishali. Vaishali, anything else that you find here in the question?
So what I think is we've answered most of the questions. If you have questions pertaining to your profile, please feel free to write in on the email ID that we've shared on the screen so that we can get back to you with specific answers pertinent to your profile.
Yeah, and so this is the time when we are actually having people enroll for the admission counseling services, because we'll be applying for business schools or starting business schools next year. So if you are interested in any of your profile building activities or discussing profile building activities in detail, of course, a one-on-one conversation, or if you are interested in building your CV, editing your CV, or any services that you think that you require, you can reach out to your nearest centers. I think many of you will be Jamboree students. If you are not a Jamboree student, you will find Jamboree presence in most of the cities. And nowadays, though, everybody is working from home. So we are just a phone call away. You to our centers, and they will be able to connect you with the right person. Okay, so Tanusha has asked, does ECA, there was a question. Does ECA play an important role for people from core technical background? Okay. So if you are applying for an MBA course, then ECAs are important. If you are applying for a technical program such as a master's in computer science, master's in mechanical engineering, or any other technical program that you're applying for, then ECAs are not so important. Okay, because we have just done a session on why ECAs are important. For MBAs, ECAs are important. Internship as part of professional work experience. Okay.
So internships will typically during education, like your CA internship, for example, it typically does not count as full-time work experience. Okay.
Yeah, Janak, to answer your question, or does representing your work organization in sports tournament count as extracurriculars? Yes, it will count as an extracurricular. Okay. If you went on a exchange program at Europe during your school days, will it be part of my extracurriculars? How to showcase your demonstrated leadership? So, Vishali, do you want to take this question?
So if you have been on an exchange program in your student days to Europe, you can utilize it to showcase global perspective, but understand this is part of your academia. Okay. It it's good. You will be able to say that you stayed in a different country, you attended class with different people, etc. That'll be a really good experience to show, but it still is part of your academia, as opposed to maybe organizing a college festival for your college, which would count as an extracurricular.
Right. Would running a side business count as ECA? No, running your side business is not, does not count as a ECA. Okay, so I think we have answered most of the questions now, which are on board.
Yeah. And if you have any more questions, if you'd like to talk to us one-on-one to discuss profile specific tips, please feel free to write into us, or like ma'am said, connect with your local centers and we'll set up a one-on-one counseling session.
Right. So shall we close now?
Yes, yes.